I'm rocking with G-Sportz.
With the pandemic going on, we're in the week of the 20-hour week. And so we're doing a lot of walkthroughs with our players and just kind of getting back up on speed, which is good. The NCAA allowed us to do that because, we didn't have any spring practices. So we missed pretty much our whole spring. And so just being back out there, man, doing some football and getting back in there and kind of making up those spring practices has been good. And Coach Mendenhall, head coach, has done a good job organizing the practice and structuring it to where, we kind of getting the kids for a good period of time, man, and we spacing it out, you know what I mean? So we're getting a lot of football and we're letting them get a lot of their summer school stuff in and getting bigger in the weight room and everything. So from a pandemic, standpoint, we're doing a pretty good job, man, kind of managing our kids and getting them in and out there on the football field and in the classroom. So that's going well. And then from obviously the Black Lives Matter, thing that's going on and something that we got to keep on continuing going on. It shouldn't be, really a movement. It should be something that's every day for the rest of our lives. I think we've been doing a great job with that as well and talking to our players. And, our players have been doing a good job speaking up, and it's funny because you learn, that even though you're old, man, you learn from some of the younger guys, you know what I mean? And
right.
And stepping up and saying things and, silence is violence and all of those things. Because growing up, in New Orleans, man, you see things and things happen to you and you just kind of get mad and just move on. You act like, you know what I mean? Like it ain't going to change. And you're like, man, it ain't going to change. That's how it always is. And you just get mad and you kind of conform to it. But, now it's to that point where ain't nobody conforming anymore. You know what I mean? It's about change and people are starting to want to change. And these young players and these young students and these young men are making change. And, I'm learning from it. And so it's a good thing. So I'm enjoying it and I'm learning every day and just trying to help change the world.
I think if more people in the world would be like football teams and kind of come together in such a diverse setting and have one goal, you know what I'm saying? I think it brings a lot of people together. Like Coach Ricky said, I think we're doing a pretty good job with it, but it's something that needs to continue. This is just the beginning and hopefully, we make strides. But as far as the pandemic and how things have been going, I'd say from a recruiting standpoint, it changed a lot. It changed the whole calendar. It also just changed how we do things. Normally you have to have a good enough relationship to get somebody on campus. And then while you're on campus, it's kind of when you can seal the deal. Now there is no on campus. So everything's virtual, having meetings like this, like we're having right now, and just a lot of talking on the phone. I think it's changed the game. I think it kind of evened the playing field a little bit. I think you see a lot more people committing to places that they're close to just because you've probably been there before. You know what I mean? Not being able to do all of the visits like normal. I think it's definitely going to change, and I'm anxious to see how it plays out if visits are able to happen and if all these commitments will stick.
Y'all both going into your third year at the University of Virginia, man, and y'all kind of been making some noise since y'all got there. And Coach Mendenhall, I think he's did a tremendous job with that program, turning it around. Just talk about the success that y'all been having going into y'all third. I mean, in y'all second year, you go to a New Year's Six Bowl. You go play in the Orange Bowl, go toe-to-toe with Florida. I personally believe y'all to have so many injuries, especially on in the secondary. Who knows how it could have kind of played out, but that's neither here nor there. But just talk about that success, man, y'all been having over there at UVA and the change that's coming as far as y'all bringing a lot of them kids from the boot down there too.
Yeah, we've been doing a good job, man. And, Jordan, that's a dog now. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I mean? We got to, you want to say behind the scene, but he ain't really behind the scene. So with my man Jordan doing, man, and Jay doing it and just being a bulldog about it and attacking it and just going after it, man. And calling coaches. And it's funny because who he don't know, I know, and who I don't know, he know. And then when we know the same people, it's even that much better. And so it's like when you got two people from South Louisiana attacking it, you know what I mean? You're going to have success. And the relationships that we had or we have with some of the coaches and players and, you know what I mean? It's genuine. And so they know we real. And they know we are who we are, you know what I'm saying? So they know we're not fake. They know we ain't lying to them. They know what we say is the truth. And they believe it and they know it because a lot of the people I coached them, I coached, I played with him, and Jordan coached with him, played with him, or played for him. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like we work in all of those angles around, and it's just been successful for us because, like I said, from day one, you know, it's about who you know and who knows you. And we know a lot of people down there, and a lot of people know us down there. So it's been really helpful for us, man.
We call ourselves a dynamic duo, or Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
We just kind of argue on who's Batman and who's Robin.
I'm Batman, bro.
But talk about some challenges that y'all kind of face since y'all been at the University of Virginia. You know, Coach Brumfield, I know you've been in the game, 20 years?
Yes.
I ain't trying to make you seem cool.
I was about to try to cut that in half and say 10, but yeah. Yeah,
you've been in the game 20 years, man, and you know, I know you was at Western Kentucky and some other colleges, UTSC. So, you know, this is not anything new to you far as recruiting kids from the boot to come kind of, you know, a little distance away. Jordan, I know you going into your second year, but, you know, you kind of, it seemed like you're a vet in the game now, you know, over there at UVA. But talk about some challenges that y'all kind of face recruiting kids from the boot and trying to get them to understand that, you know, you can go outside of Louisiana and still be successful, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
First and foremost is just the distance thing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times being from Louisiana, especially if you're from a rough part or you kind of had a rough upbringing, you might not have been to many places. You know, Mississippi might have been the furthest you've ever been. In order to sort of get somebody to come all the way this far, I think that'd be the first struggle. But having people in place, you know, Coach Ricky, like even for me, you know, I came from Louisiana. Coach Ricky was here. He coached me in college. You know, Justin Anderson, our director of player personnel, he coached me in college. You know, so to have people who lived in Louisiana, like Justin did, his whole family's from there. Coach Ricky coached me from Louisiana. It felt like home. You know what I mean? We have a little piece of Louisiana here. And then now we added another staff member, J.R. Belton. He's from North Louisiana, so that's someone else. And then, you know, since we've been here, just in these short 2 years going into year 3, we brought in 7 kids from Louisiana, you know, so yeah, I mean, it's a gang of them, you know what I'm saying? And one in Terrell Chapman, he graduated already. He was a grad transfer, but we got a little niche, man. And when you come here, you know what I'm saying, his family. And Coach Ricky, you know, we threw a Mardi Gras party at his house. We had the kids going around with little hats and in the umbrellas. And, you know, I cooked the gumbo. I had some, I even ordered some king cake, you know, and had the boys over and just give them a little taste of home. And I think that's what it's about, man. Home's not always where you are, it's where you make it. And if you come here and make this home, you know, and have a chance to kind of step out and you know, do something different, I think you can be legendary.
That's true. And, you know, to kind of piggyback on that, man, you know, it is difficult sometimes when you tell a kid to go away from home, you know what I mean? You got to catch a plane ride sometimes. But when you look at everything about it, man, you only get that chance one time in life, you know what I mean, to get away. And a lot of times when you stay close to home, you tend to venture and stay around the same people. You don't get to venture out and expand your horizons and get to see different things in life. You know, we're 2 hours away from D.C., you know what I mean? When the next time somebody's going to be able to go to D.C. and go to the Black Museum, you know what I'm saying, African-American Museum, different things like that. And so you got an opportunity to expand and go out and do those types of things rather than just stay close to home. Because, like I say, you stay close to home in a college and you hang around the same people. You don't get around different people and start meeting different people of different races, different religions, and different cultures and backgrounds and stuff like that. And, you know, another hard thing was just the fact that people never really heard of Virginia. You know what I mean? It don't come on. Well, it didn't come on TV a whole lot. Or you probably just didn't look at it. You know what I'm saying?
People in the boot ain't saying that no more. Virginia buzzing.
That's what I'm saying. So now, you know what I mean, we put it on the map. And, you know, and us winning games and what Coach Mendenhall did with helping the program, man, and the success that the program has been having, even a year or two before we got here, what he was doing, you know what I mean? And us just coming in and just getting on that ride, you know what I mean? It's starting to be well known. It's starting to be seen. And then going to the Orange Bowl, that only just helps it. You know, that helps it even that much more because you play in the Orange Bowl, we the only game playing that day. You know what I mean? You the only college football game on. You see how much everybody's craving for football right now. You know, it was the same way then, man, in January. You know, New Year's Day Bowl, playing that, everybody see you playing, everybody watching. So you get that exposure. And so now with us getting that exposure, with us getting people from Louisiana, You know what I mean? And they know how we treat them. They tell the people how we treat them. And now it just keeps going, keeps going, and keeps going. You only need to get 1 or 2 every year. You do that, and we got some dogs on our team.
Yeah, and I think it's all about how you present it, you know, and Coach Ricky, he says it a good way, you know, and just to relate to Louisiana kids, it's, you know, we have an education that's better than Tulane. We play at the same level as LSU. So when you put it in a way like that, you know, top 5 public university in the country,
Yeah.
and you have an opportunity to walk away with an education that, you know, it's going to go a long, long way. And then plus we playing Power 5 football. We in the ACC championship. We playing against Clemson. You know what I mean? Then we in the Orange Bowl playing against Florida. That's a real big stage. So when you put the combination together, man, a lot of times I tell them there might be some people who are doing football at a higher level than us, and there might be people who are doing academics at a higher level than us. But when you put the combination together, I put us up against anybody.
Y'all experiences from the past has probably played a big part into why y'all having so much success, you know, with having relationships in Louisiana and just, you know, building that culture over there at the University of Virginia. Everybody I bring on a Zoom interview, man, I always like to talk about your journey. Jordan, I know your journey, bro. You know, you played at Edie White, right down the road from where I'm from. You want to play at Nichols, and I know, you know, you had some injuries that kind of like had you have some setbacks in your career. And I think that kind of the adversity you went through in playing at Nichols and getting hurt, that kind of made you into the man you are today. Then you started coaching at Edie White. Then you went to Ellender, and now you're at the University of Virginia. With Brumfield, you done made some stops. You know, I know you got more experiences than Jordan, but kind of talk about y'all journey, man, and how that kind of molded y'all into the, you know, to the player, or not the player, the coach, and, you know, kind of in player personnel, what you doing, Jordan?
You said it, G, you know, and even before that, man, when it comes back to doing what I'm doing, you know, I lost a parent growing up, so I'm passionate about helping people who come from single-parent households, because that's what I was brought up in. And if I didn't have a praying mother and some people from football who were there for me, I don't know where I'd be, you know. And then secondly, you know, facing that adversity with getting injured and then just being down, man, and having to find myself, you know what I mean? What are you besides an athlete? And that was something that, you know, it took me some time, but I understand it. You know, I had a conversation with a kid today who might have to miss a season, and I'm telling him, man, you're going to be successful no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, look at what you've done so far, and just giving them some game, man, and just some real life experiences and helping them to further their life. And that's what it's about, man, giving back and giving to the people. But for me, you know, just being at those high school stops and kind of having a chance to touch some of those kids and help with their journey to get to college, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the process, and being on that side of it, it taught me a lot. And then now on this side of it, you know, the same thing. You know, I can give parents some game on kind of how to go through it. And if it's a fit to come to Virginia, it's a fit. If it's not, I helped you along the path. Well, I don't want you to be here if you don't want to be here, you know. So any way I can do something just to give back and help, man, that's what I'm here to do. And I'll let Coach Ricky give his. You know, he got a long one, man.
Jordan, I know you did some training back in your hometown, man. You trained a lot of kids. Devontae Martin, who was one of the top receivers at Washington State, projected to go between the 5th and the 7th round. Ja'Kai Douglas, who at Florida State. Kyron Lacy, who at UL. I can go on and on about some of the kids that you trained in the area. When was the turning point, you know, when you was coaching in high school, that made you say, man, I think that this is something I really want to do, and I kind of want to go to the college level? Even though I know you're in player personnel and you're the director of communications, what was the turning point?
Yeah, I think it started, you know, when I was at Edie White, and I had a couple kids, Brandon Lejean, who ended up at UL, Jeremy Rounds, who ended up at Nichols, and I knew they could play Division I or play the next level, and I wanted to be able to help them. So I just started asking a lot of questions on what do I do? Who do I reach out to? You know what I mean? And some people kind of started giving me some games. So I started there, and then at Ellender, you know, I think it was just right place, right time. You know, Dontavian Martin, he's like family to me. I talk to him still almost every day. And him losing his mother and his dad being incarcerated, you know, he really needs somebody. And I just so happened to be there at that time. And when we're doing his in-home visits and everything like that, man, it was me sitting in that living room, you know, me and Tay going through that process. And that's really where I learned it. And that's where I really started to like it. And I felt like I kind of had the blueprint, you know, on what to do or how to do it. And then with Ja'Kai Douglas next, you know, we went through that one, G, you know, making the van, you know, we made some trips in the summer to a lot of camps, man. And I think going to those camps and even just training some of those kids like Kyron and other ones that you named, I was like, man, you know, like this is what I want to do. I want to be on the next level. And Mr. John Digg, who's actually my physical therapist, he set me up with an opportunity, or just really introduced me to somebody with the Arizona Cardinals. And I got a chance to interview with the Cardinals, and I thought I was going to pursue an NFL scouting career. And I didn't get the job, man. I was heartbroken. You know, I'm back in East Houma. I'm walking around the track. Ellender, the grass long, not cut. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man. And Justin called me, who was my former receiver coach, and he had an opportunity for me at the University of Virginia. And I was ecstatic, you know, and I'm ambitious, man, and I'm always trying to look and see, you know, just continue to climb and grow. You know, I hate being complacent. And I think that's just really what got me to the next level, or what made me want to get there. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of being like, man, what's next? You know, what else is out there? And I found my way here, man, and it's been fun. It's been a journey, but it's fun.
I'm ready to hear this journey, man. You started off at Union College, man. That's Division III, Division II. What that was?
NAIA.
NAIA. All right.
Yeah, that wasn't even NCAA, man. It was in the slums. Nah, bro. It was that's where I got my first start.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. Yeah, it was in Kentucky, man. And you know, I was working at a detention center. My wife from West Virginia, so you know, got married and we was down there, and I was working at a detention center in West Virginia. And one of the guys I was working with was a high school coach. And he was like, man, you know, you should be coaching football, man, because we was just always talking football. You know what I mean? And I was like, hey, bro, that's something I think I want to do. Because at the time, I didn't even know I really wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just, you know how it is when you're young, man. I just want to play in the NFL. And then you don't make it to the NFL. You're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so he kind of got me in, man. And I was working at this high school. Then I was working at a little Division II school, just kind of volunteering. He ended up getting a grad assistant job at Union College. And so that's where we went. You know, I was making probably at the time, 2000, 2001, like $25,000. And I went to Union College and took a grad assistant job for $4,000 a year. And, you know, I had to pay rent and my paycheck at the end. Because I watched the show and I was listening to everybody's stories, and it's just funny because everybody got some kind of story. And now one person's story is worse than the other. It's just different. And, you know, mine was, man, my check was like $185 a month. You know what I mean? Like we was taking turns getting our parents' money every month, paying for the car note. You know what I mean? We had one car, so we was borrowing money. And we in grad school, you know what I mean? Just going to grad school, man. And shoot, man, I got on food stamps for a minute. You know what I mean? Just to help. And we had my son, my oldest son, who in college, he in grad school right now. And we had my son, man, and we was sleeping on the sofa bed. And we had him on the cushions in the corner. You know what I mean? That was his bed. And we was just getting how we lived, man. And went to grad school, coaching receivers, coaching special teams. And it just kept, you know, progressing from there.
With so many different stops you've been at,
mm-hmm.
Division II, NAIA, you know, just talk about that sacrifice and how hard was it for you to stay in it? You know, so many people they look for that overnight success and they want that. You know, and then you had a family. How hard was it to stick with it, especially like that at that kind of level of football?
It was tough, man. Like I said, bro, I had to, you know what I mean? My wife, she probably gonna be mad at me now because I'm saying this on here, but we had to get food stamps, man. It was rough. You know what I mean? We was in school and she was embarrassed. And I'm like, look, it ain't like we out here just chilling. You know what I'm saying? We out here, you in school, I'm in school. And we just trying to work. We gotta feed each other, you know what I mean, and feed our son. And it was tough, man. It was a lot of times, man. You working all day long, and you know at the end of the month, your check $185. You go to McDonald's, it's like the 5-star restaurant, bro. You spend $10 and that's your treat for the month. You know what I mean? And it was just tough, but it was always in my mind. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, I didn't know how it was gonna start and all of that, but I never looked at it as I want to just be here and I'll put me here. You know what I mean? I knew I had to work my way up and I was willing to do that. And that's why I spent summers, you know, when other coaches was home chilling, you know what I mean? My summers was grinding and going to NFL camps. I mean, dude, it was summers, man, that my summer paycheck was working summer camps. And I basically worked my way down. So we in West Virginia, you know what I mean? I drive down to Tennessee. I set it up, work Tennessee camp. Get my little camp check at $300. Then I work the Louisville camp, get my camp check at $300. Then I work all the way down to LSU camp, work their camp, you know what I'm saying, get my little $300-$400. And then I come back. And that's how I pay for my little summer going home back to New Orleans. and just doing those things, man. And you know, I've always had coaches, and even now, you know, coaches want to get in, and they're like, man, I ain't trying to GA, bro. You ain't trying to GA, and you ain't trying to coach.
Right.
Like, you know, if you ain't willing to sacrifice that, then you ain't willing to coach, man. You can't just, you know, some people get it like that. Some people get it to where, you know, they play and they GA for a year, or they don't even GA. They just get in a full position or something because their dad was a coach or their brother or something like that. But, you know, everybody don't get it like that, man. So in order to get what you want, you got to put in that work.
Just talk about your relationship with Frank, man, and how he's kind of mentored you along your coaching journey and your experience coaching with him at UTSC.
Man, he, you know, I knew Frank since I was a little kid, man. And, you know, I mean, my best friend, Roy, daughter, Asia, man, me and Frank both the godfathers of his daughter. And so, you know what I mean? That's how close we are. And that's his cousin. And barbecued since I was about 10, 12, you know what I mean? Hanging out with each other. He's always been older, so I always looked up to him. And just throughout this coaching profession, you know, obviously I always kept in touch with him. And I remember like a small, I don't even know if he remember, but I remember when I got to Union College, you know, my first coaching job, man, as a GA, but I still was recruiting. You know, NAIA, you do it all. And I remember coming to New Orleans and like, shoot, man, I'm about to go recruit. I'm recruiting New Orleans. I remember going to the school. I had no plan, no nothing. I just like, I'm going to Walker. You know what I mean? And Frank was the head coach at Walker at the time. And I walk in there and Frank was like, so what's up, Rick? And I was like, nothing, what's up, bro? And he's just like, Rick, you ain't got a plan, dog? You ain't got nothing, you know what I mean? You ain't got nothing organized, and just like went off on me. You know what I mean? Just saying, man, you need to do this, bro. You got to have this organized. They're going to ask you for this, and that. And I walked in just blind, bro. I just walked in like, man, I'm going to see my dog, man. Let's go. Who you got, Frank? And he set me straight, man. He put me down and he gave me the game. You know what I mean? And since then, you know, every time I talk to him, it's something, you know what I mean? And it's something like that. And that was when I first started coaching. That was my first time on the road recruiting. And so for me, he the godfather for me as far as that goes, because he put me down in that regards, man. And, you know, I don't know Curtis Johnson. I know of him, obviously, but, you know, I don't really know him like that. But the guy who I looked up to, man, was really Frank, you know, as far as that goes with recruiting. And he's the one that kind of helped me get to where I'm at right now. Especially being at UTSA and working for him. And, you know, when he was about to get the job, you know, he called me and was like, Rick, you coming, bro? And, you know, how Frank, he can talk now. And he was just like, Rick, you coming? And I was like, all right, I'm coming. And I remember I hung up. And my wife was like, how much? How much you getting? I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't know. He told me he got me, man. That's my people, man. He got me. You know what I mean? It took about a week and a half, man. She kept getting in my ear, got me kind of scared for a second, like, say, bro. So it was good, though, man. And, you know, and he took care of me, man. And you know, he kind of, I always say, you know, I probably shouldn't use his word, but the whole time that, man, he nitpicked everything I did. You know what I mean? Just everything, bro. I used to do drill tapes, and he'd be like, Rick, come here, man. Add this, add this. You're saying too many words, bro. Say this, cut that off. Do this, add this, put that on there, do this. And, you know, a couple of times I'm like, dang, bro, you know what I mean? And just, you know, turn my head and roll my eyes, man. But when I interviewed at Virginia, all I used was my drill tape. That was it. And it was a drill tape that I put together messing around with Frank, you know what I'm saying? And using the buzzwords and chopping these words down and how I organize my drills and stuff like that, man. So, you know, I owe him a lot, man. I owe him, you know what I'm saying? So, ain't nothing but respect from me.
What's some advice that y'all can give to like parents and kids that probably gonna watch this Zoom interview? What are y'all looking for when y'all going to these spring practices, when y'all going to the game, when y'all watching huddle, when y'all watching kids at camp? You know, what are some things that y'all are really watching for when y'all looking for a kid that can fit y'all program at the University of Virginia?
It starts with height, weight, speed, you know, and then each position has different variables and what goes to it. You know, and I think a lot of times what happens with parents is if your son's the best on the team or best in the area, you think they're supposed to have every offer in the country, you know what I mean? And understanding that. I think until, you know, G, you've been there, you've been on the sidelines, you see how big people are in this conference, and it starts with size, you know what I mean? And you can't just continue to take exceptions or you have a team full of exceptions, you know? So I would say tall, long, lean, and can run, and pretty much at every position, right? Like that's just kind of what it goes to. And then For parents, though, if it's something that your kids set on, then you got to get them to those camps. You got to get them some exposure. And if the test, it goes all the way to the NFL combine to when you come to camps. If the test is that drill work, man, if it's running that 40, if it's doing that shuttle, if it's jumping, you have to practice that stuff, because there's a lot of people who just line up, bend over, and take off. You know what I'm saying? But if that's the test, man, why wouldn't you ace it? So I would say be with a trainer or be with somebody who kind of knows that stuff, man, and work that, and position-specific things. So when you go to a camp or at spring practice, when you're in front of some coaches who are coming, look to see if you're polished at all, or just really, if you understand the position, you actually been doing some of those things, and resources like yourself, you've been there, you've seen it, people in the area who are training, Turk's down there in the area, he's doing a good job. There's a lot of people, in South Louisiana who are doing that now. So there's resources out there. I would say just use them.
Yeah, I also like to add too is don't be afraid to play more than one sport. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to play more than one position, because when you're evaluating kids, man, you're looking to see what other sport they play. And that's like one of the number one things too. Is like, all right, what else he play? He played basketball. Okay, if you're a big guy, play tight end, where you know how to post people up. You know how to rebound and get the ball at the highest point. You know what I'm saying? He plays baseball. What position he play? Oh, he plays center field, where you know how to track the ball. So he can judge the ball in the air, and he can do different things. So a lot of times people want to specialize in one thing. I just want to play one sport, just one thing. Man, the more sports you play, the better it is for you, the more beneficial it is for you in the long run. And then the more positions you play. You know what I mean? You might want to play tight end, but you might not be a Division I caliber tight end. But if you're playing on a defense end, you may be a Division I caliber defensive end. So don't be afraid to play more than one position, and don't be afraid to play more than one sport. Because in our eyes, man, the more sports you play and the more things you do, the more opportunities you're going to have.
I would say especially basketball and track. Track is trained so much of explosive stuff, and you just already get a sense of how to run. But basketball, I may be, this may be me, but man, I'm super passionate about playing basketball. I feel like if you're a guard and you long and lean, you dunking in the lane, I need to know about you. You know what I mean? If you're a big man and you lead the break, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? What's his name? I need to know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Who's his parent? So, you hit it on the head, Coach. I would say multi-sport athletes, man, for sure, and training multi-sport growing up and doing everything, it makes you better. You end up just kind of, you learn a trait from each sport that ends up benefiting you, on that next level, on the big stage when it's time to really narrow it down.
What's our take on, recruiting as a whole and how kids, a lot of kids not understanding the process and how to pick schools for the right reasons?
Yeah, I think, and I'll be quick about it, man. I think sometimes a lot of kids pick schools just because of the past history. You know what I mean? And they pick it because of the name brand sometimes, and they don't pick it for overall, for what class they want to major in, or what type of offense they run, or what type of defense they want to run. How many people they got in that position and different things like that. So I think sometimes, kids choose the wrong school just because they're looking for they're also scared to make that decision to go to those tough schools because they're hearing it from everybody else, and they're making the decision because of what everybody else is telling them. And they're making a decision because their dad or their uncle and people are living their dreams through that kid, you know what I mean? And man, you need to go to this school, because when I was young, man, that school was off the chain. Like, instead of just going for everything, because Virginia ain't for everybody. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? We ain't for every single person. So, it doesn't matter the name brand of the school, man. You gotta look at everything. You gotta look at the school itself. You know what I mean? The city that it's in. Can you live in the city? Can you be around the city? Can you go to school there? If you get hurt and you don't play ball, would you still be good at, we're graduating from there? All of those things, man. And I think kids don't take all of that in. Some of them, I ain't say all of them, obviously, but some of them don't take all of that in consideration. And they're committing to a school for the outside reasons and not for the inner reasons of themselves.
Have a checklist, you know what I mean? Sit down and really evaluate what you want, what do you want out of a school, and write it down, and then every school you go to, check off what it had. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what you're looking for, everything looks good. especially when you're going to Power 5, everybody's facilities is nice. You know what I mean? Most people's jerseys look cool, you know? So then you just go and it's the last person that talked to you or the last place you visited. You know what I mean? You have no substance. You just chose there because, you know, I really liked how the DB coach told me, you know, I was going to play the first day. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. So I would just say, first and foremost, know what you're looking for, you know, and check it off. And if they don't have it, ask them why. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, and figure out if it has some substance behind it, you know. And then, you know, I feel bad, and that's why a lot of times I give the parents the game on kind of what to do and what to look for, because if you've never been through this process before, it can be a whirlwind, especially the kids who are getting 20, 30 offers. You know, I think sometimes not knowing the process and playing with the process, you know, gets people in some bad situations, and finding somebody who either has gone through it or somebody that has gone through it with some people and seek some advice, you know, and just figure out what's the best ways to go about it. And if you find a place and it feels like home, man, commit, you know what I mean? And if you haven't, then find that place. But again, don't play with that process, man. There's a lot of times it comes down to the end and people get left out just because they waited around, you know, and spots fill up. At the end of the day, you know, I see a lot of people talking when they say, they talk about colleges putting out all of these offers, and, you know, basically like we overload with offers. But at the end of the day, if we only offer 25 kids, not all 25 are about to say yes, you know? So it comes down to a situation where you have to get 25 to say yes. So of course you have to offer more than one person at each position. Right. And, you know, with us, I think we just try to be as open and honest as we can be with how many we're taking at that position and how many that we have. And when it comes to that time that those spots are filling up, if you're ready to hop in, come on. You know what I mean? If not, if somebody else is, it's tough to wait around, you know? So, yeah, that's my advice.
I know y'all some ambitious people. You know, y'all two guys that's doing really, really well in the game right now. But what's y'all end game? When y'all get ready to say, I'm done with college football, I'm done with football, period. What's your end game before you call it quits?
I want to be a head coach. You know what I mean? Before I call it quits, I want to be a head coach, man, and be the head coach at the highest level I can be. And then real talk, be a D2, something like that, head coach on a mid-level where I'm just coaching ball, man. I ain't worrying about all of the politics and the publicity and all that stuff like that. I'm just coaching football. You know what I mean? So every day I just wake up, man, just coach football, and then I also have my family time. You know what I mean? And by that time, I'm probably going to have some grandkids and stuff like that. I'm going to be old as dirt, man. So, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to do that, man. So that my end goal is that, man. I just want to be a head coach somewhere and just at the highest level first and compete at the highest level just to do it. And then to prove to myself I can do it and prove to everybody else I can do it. And then just kind of lay low, man, at a smaller school and just coach at that level, man.
And for me, you know, I'm a firm believer in God, man. I think he has a plan for all of us, you know, and it's hard for me to say, you know, what's my end goal. So far, you know, when opportunities present themselves, I feel like it's the right one. You know, I walk through that door and going forward, you know, whatever opportunity does, and if I feel like it's right, I'm going to go with it, you know, whether it be being director of player personnel at a Power 5 level, whether it be switching to the coaching side, whether it be going to NFL, whether it be doing something football related that's not on the collegiate level, you know what I mean? I'm not sure yet. You know, something I really was thinking about, actually, it might have been today or yesterday, or something that I just can't believe, you know, that we don't have or more of, is a junior college in Louisiana. So that's something that kind of was on my mind is, you know, before it's all said and done, whenever I, you know, get to where I'm going, come back and then start a junior college, you know, just because there's so many kids who don't qualify that are there, and there's just so much talent, you know. And right next door in Mississippi, they have those powerhouses. Right there in Texas, they have such good football, and all our guys leave and have to go to either one or even Kansas. But imagine if they all stay in the one junior college, you know, sounds like a national championship to me, you know. So I could see, you know, way down the line, me trying to do something like that, you know. But, yeah, man, we'll see. Time will tell.
That'll be crazy. That's something I've never heard anybody even think about that. Like a JUCO in Louisiana, that would be insane if that happened.
I heard they were trying to do one in North Louisiana, and I'm not sure. You know, I didn't really see the details, but definitely in South Louisiana, you know, that'd be my, you know what it is. You know, I know, you know, no offense to North Louisiana, man. But North Louisiana and South Louisiana, two different places, man. So, I got to go to the crib down home. So, yeah.
All right, all right. Now we're about to get to the fun part of this G-Sportz segment, man. Coach Ricky Brumfield and Jordan on the Zoom interview. Here we go. All right. Put a little pressure on y'all. Not too much, but just a little bit pressure on y'all. All right, here we go. Best high school football player you ever seen?
I'm gonna have to go with my dogs, man. My dogs I play with, and it's a I can't go with either one. I gotta say both of them, man. Chucky Parquette and Bruce James, man.
What year?
Yeah.
What year?
93. I'm going back, bro. I'm taking it back, man. I can't, you know what I'm saying? That was my dogs right there. You know what I mean?
You got to stay true.
I gotta keep it real with it. You know what I mean? That was my boys, dog. You see them dudes play, and that was before your time, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you see them dudes play, man. They can roll, and there was a lot of greats, man. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to take nothing away from the greats. Like, you know, Mickey Joseph was that dude too. But I gotta go with my boys, being Archbishop Shaw alum. You know what I mean? I gotta go with my dogs, man.
This one for me is the easy choice, man. It's Puka Williams, man. Every single time I went, this man went for 300 plus, and he just made the game look fake. You know what I'm saying? And he's still doing it on the collegiate level. You know, so yeah, Puka, man. You know, I hear a lot of arguments. You know, he's the all-time leading rusher in the state of Louisiana. Come on, man. Some real live running backs came through Louisiana. To have that record, you know, that's something special. So yeah, I have to say definitely.
Favorite NFL player of all time and why?
Favorite NFL player? I'm gonna say Jerry Rice. You know, I used to I used to dream being like Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin. You know what I mean? And Jerry Rice, for me, probably because I never was that fast. I wasn't that speed demon. And Jerry Rice wasn't. He just ran routes, man. He just ran routes and caught the ball and he just balled out. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't any of that, man. He just balled out, man, every single game. You know what I mean? And people talk about his work ethic and all of the things he did. You know, I grew up just watching Jerry Rice, man. So NFL, Jerry Rice, man. But college, man, I'm gonna have to say Charlie Ward, bro.
That's a good one. I'm
talking about back in the street, man. Everybody used to try to be like Charlie Ward. I used to do the little motions and all that shifts and everything, doing all the little signals and everything, and just sling it. Boy, Charlie, I want to be Charlie Ward so bad.
And he was nice on the basketball court. That was the thing.
I was mad, bro.
He was a real two-sport athlete.
I was mad he didn't go to the NFL. When he went to the NBA, I was hot. I was heated. I was heated. So, you know what I mean? So college, man, it's Charlie Ward hands down, man. And NFL is Jerry Rice, man.
Yeah, for me, NFL, Michael Vick. And just because I felt like he just brought something new to the game. You know what I mean? They had quarterbacks who could run before, but not like that, you know. And that was kind of when I was in that impressionable age where, you know, you tuned in and you want to be like players. And I used to always be in the yard, you know, the white Mike Vick, man. That's how I was coming. So, yeah, man, Mike Vick. And then if we say college, I'll say Peter Warrick, the human joystick.
He was cold too.
Florida State, you know, he did some special things and just how he moved. You know, his NFL career didn't pan out how I was supposed to, but shoot, if y'all bored, anybody who's watching, type in the human joystick Peter Warrick and y'all see what I'm talking about.
He was cold too.
Man, I'll never forget the game when they played Louisiana Tech. He literally juked all 11 players from return.
Yeah, he did that a lot of times, right?
Bro, that was like insane. Like he took his time and juked all 11 players, like, and scored.
Mm-hmm. Different.
Joe, you surprised me with them. I thought you were gonna say Reggie Bush.
Nah.
my son would have said Reggie Bush, man.
Right. Favorite NBA player of all time and why?
I'm gonna have to say LeBron. You know what I mean? I know that's an argument. Everybody talking about Jordan or LeBron, man. I'm gonna just say LeBron just because, you know, I had coached a kid that played on that little Fab Five thing or whatever, that they had that AAU and everything. Coached a kid named Willie McGee. And you know, he was on that team, and LeBron took care of them dudes. You know what I mean? And they used to go to the games with him when LeBron was in the league, man. Willie used to take a couple of teammates with him, man, and they come back and talk about how LeBron was. LeBron came and watched us play one time. And just seeing, man, him doing what he's doing in the community, man, with people in the school that he built, and just everything he's doing and how he was with all of his friends. He never turned his back on them. He treated everybody like there was, you know, family, man. And, you know, that's the type of person he was, man. So I always respected that. And then when you see him on the court, bruh, I mean, people can argue all they want. You can argue who you say who the best, but I know this, can't nobody stop that, man. You know what I mean? So, and nobody never did stop that, man. So that was my favorite player, man. That's my favorite player.
I am rooting for the Lakers to win it all. You know, I rock with LeBron, but my favorite player of all time is Allen Iverson. Shout out Coach Hagan's Uncle Chuck. I think I like AI because he made it okay to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? He was okay in his own skin, and he kind of changed the game where he was going to be who he is no matter how you felt. You know, and I think that's kind of something that trickled all the way down to today's society. You know what I mean? That's what it's about, not being cookie cutter, be who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I really like what he brought in that aspect. And also because he's a normal sized human and he did some ridiculous things. And you know that the NFL, regular people make it. You know what I'm saying? The NBA, when you see NBA players, you know they're NBA players. They look like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh my goodness, this dude is tall. You know, so for somebody who was regular size, not athletically, regular size like us, you know what I mean, to do it and to do it at that high a level, you know, I'd say that's why he was my favorite.
When y'all be getting ready to play Clemson in the ACT championship, or you're getting ready to play Florida State of Miami, and you're on the way to the stadium, what you bumping? On the way to the stadium, get you hyped for the game, man. What y'all bumping, man? I need to know. What you bumping scenario. I got to know.
NBA young boy who want war with us.
He on that new school, man. I'm straight old school, bro. I'm straight Cash Money, dog. And you know what I mean? Cash Money and No Limit, bro. That Ghetto D. My Master P, that Ghetto D. You hear that little, you know what I'm saying? Ghetto D. And then Juvie, man, 400 degrees, bro. You know what I mean? Welcome to the Know You. Listen, when I'm pulling in the parking lot, I bump that Welcome to the Know You. And I'm telling you.
Classic.
So that's what I'm doing.
That 400 degrees probably that's like my top 5 albums all time. That's in my top.
Ever.
Straight up.
Ever.
Straight up.
I'm telling you that. And I listen to, that's the ones I listen to every time. It's about 3 or 4 tracks, man, that on my drive to work that I play to get me hype, man.
Where y'all go? I know what y'all gotta do, man. I know, man. Y'all rocking with, man.
Rocking with G-Sportz, man.
I'm rocking with G-Sportz, big dog. You know that. All the time.
All day, man. Oh, man, I gotta do this again sometime.
Most definitely. Anytime, bro. Anytime, just say the word, man.
That is, man. Coach Ricky Brumfield, special teams coach, and Jordan Awesome, director of community. We signing out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.